Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Valley Sportsbook and Casino, downtown Baton Rouge, welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro. Jordan Kinch is back in the studio along with Carl Groton. Colucci from Vegas.
Lock of the week.
Colucci from Vegas today. Matt Ewan's from Vegas today.
Different time.
Yeah, we moved Colucci back a half hour today, so he'll be with us at noon.
He does have a real job. He's got business, you know.
Yeah. You imagine that they're a little bit busy this week. Final Four, first week of Major League Baseball.
Well, last week was the first week of Major League Baseball. I mean, I would think they're kind of exhaling a little bit right now, Charlie. I think that March Madness is a monster.
Yeah, you go from 32 games in 2 days to 3 over 2 days. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, the first weekend, 48 games. The next weekend, obviously, with 12
games.
So 12-3. So yeah. So they it's that it's still, you know, championship week is, Charlie, it's kind of like you. Vegas is at some point, what is the latest? They're going to charge AC fee. You know, the resort fee, you know, the locals complain about parking. Our buddy like Nigel Seeley talked about he got hit with a $50 fee for a seat fee because he had like a window view of a restaurant or something like that. I mean, it just kind of at some point they got to read the room, and like we're not looking for $2.99 steak and lobster, but my goodness, I mean they.
The $9 water got me the last time.
When we
were there for the USC game.
Now we you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a relationship with Circa, so that, you know, I'm not paying the normal freight to get a good seat to watch the games in the sports book or, you know, at the pool, whatever. But I you know, it's just, I mean, there's more and more competition like the place we are today.
Facilities like this didn't exist for so long outside of Vegas,
right?
And maybe Atlantic City, I guess, but. This facility is a Vegas quality facility. This sports book, this screen. The
screen is every bit as good as maybe outside the top 5 in Vegas.
Yeah, it really is.
Really, you know.
And a nice, relaxed place to watch with easy parking, free parking. A huge bar here with great service. And
we stayed
really
in the
nice.
room.
I love the way the game in Florida.
The rooms are good.
Yeah,
the rooms are good.
The rooms are
I mean, they're clean and new. There's no carpet, so it's something that carpet could kind of get a little nasty in some of the rooms. Not a factor over here. You got different bars in different areas. You got our buddy Percy and that crew at kind of the center part. CJ, you know, that came over from the Queen. You've got the dining depot, which is, I mean, legitimate. You see him hand tossing a dough, making a dough fresh, a wood-burning stove. The oysters are good. I mean, the sandwiches, you get everything from an Italian sub to a muffalata to heat up. 24-hour coffee shop and cafe there if you want 24-hour breakfast and things like that. So, yeah, it's got all the amenities, and it's space, too. It's more airy. And so, no, it's just kind of I'm not itching to I gave it a strong A, you know, for the opening week in the first couple of days for March Madness over here.
And if you want to come this weekend, if you're off tomorrow,
I'll be here, Charlie.
Come in here.
I'm going to Tuscaloosa every weekend, boy.
One would be plenty.
Yes,
for me. The remainder of the $25,000 in free play is going to be given away this weekend on Saturday night, 7:15 and 9:15. And all you got to do is make a $20 parlay wager or a $40 straight play wager. You get to participate in the Papa Shot to see what you're playing for, Johnny.
So we'll be here at 7:15, 9:15. We're coming over here and hunker down, man. Remember, we were over here I haven't been here since the Miami Ole Miss college football playoff game where they, had such a big game. It occupied such a big portion of the screen.
Yeah.
But that, so I would have to think, that it's going to be really, really big with some little trimming of the outline for the, some NBA or MLB and stuff like that. But the Final Four games, and it's going to be great. And so 3 names will be selected to participate in the Pop-A-Shot Challenge at each drawing time. So 3 names at 7:15, 3 at 9:15. That's in addition to if you have your player's card and they're doing the other drawings, the typical Saturday night.
Yeah, it is an addition. The regular drawings start at 5 o'clock, and they're every 30 minutes, and they pick 5 people to win $500 in free play, and one of those players is into the drawing that they have at 10 o'clock, that will win $20,000 in free play. So there's a great chance that you're going to win something. And they put it up on the screen so you get to see. There's a lot of excitement in here. Saturday night's fun. They get the live music going and everything. It's a good time, man.
And even when you swipe your card and you got the scrolling names, it validates that you're on there. You can see your name in lights. You can see your name in lights. It's all,
It's exciting because
small victories in life, Charlie.
There's money attached to it.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes.
And we still got college basketball going on during the week here, which is pretty cool. I understand that.
You watched the games last night?
I watched the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed you on Colorado, which at no point in that game was Colorado not covering. And then they go to overtime, and you're like, man, not to root against the team that I've been rooting for 39 minutes and 59 seconds, but they hit a shot to send it to overtime with a second to go. But they end up covering with a little bit of room to spare there. But just one little nervous moment. But I felt like even 5 minutes in, we were on the right side, and that just continued throughout the game, that they were going to cover the 8.5, 9 points. But then it goes to overtime. We've seen some screwy things happen in overtime. Teams that have never led in regulation win in overtime sometimes. Teams that were never covering in regulation cover in overtime. So I wasn't ecstatic to see the last shot go in regulation, but it worked out.
Plenty of chances to middle that game last night, too. They had and they had a 10-point lead right before half, and Oklahoma hit back-to-back threes to cut into. But if you jumped on it ahead of time, there were plenty of -2.5, -3.5s out there, which they fell for. So
it was, I'll tell you, I don't know if you felt like this way watching the game last night. I felt like I got everything from both teams. You don't always see that outside of the
These
NCAA
are minor
tournaments.
bowls.
These are minor bowls, and we've seen in the NIT. Who was it that Auburn played in the first game? Was it UAB or was it South Alabama in the first game of the NIT?
South Bama.
South Bama, yeah. And Auburn eventually won the game, and they kind of sleptwalk, even in their home arena, kind of sleptwalk through the first 25, 30 minutes or so before they turned it on. In these games, there's no home arena. You're playing in Las Vegas. Are you into it? Well, they put up something that motivates most people. Put up money.
Yeah.
I felt like I got there was one play in particular you probably remembered early in the first half where the guy from Oklahoma blocks a shot about 10 feet out of bounds. I mean, he just threw it. I felt like I was getting max effort from both teams last night.
I agree. It looked like they had max effort last night.
Give me a fair fight, and that's all I'm asking.
Auburn is, well, obviously they had to win 3 games to get to this point, but pretty sure, Auburn is, they are 0-3 against the spread. And they're laying points again. Here we go. Yeah. So they're the UConn women of this NIT. So in these games, and how about Illinois State? Remember the FCS national championship game?
Yeah.
Max, you remember that where Illinois State had it won, and then the guy missed a short field goal, had it blocked, and then they have a pick. It was a brutal beat. The quarterback, the little sub 6-foot quarterback, was really, really good, just unbelievable. Led them back. I mean, it was a heartbreaker, for Illinois State as a big, I think, like almost 8 or 9 point underdog in that game. So here they are again, in the NIT semifinals tonight. And am I wrong? But how long? They're at Hinkle Fieldhouse at Butler in Indianapolis?
Yeah, and then the finals are in the Pacers Arena.
Okay, but all in how long has it been in Indianapolis?
4 years, maybe?
Out of Madison Square Garden.
4 or 5 years, something like that. Without looking, that's what I'm going to say. Somewhere in that area. Why? It's.
It was there forever.
It's right. It's basketball. Basketball heavy country there. That's why they moved. They felt like I asked that question at the time because there were some thoughts about moving that to Las Vegas, and they were like, no, they're going to move it. They're going to move it to Indianapolis. And as far as I know, I can't tell you I spent a whole lot of time watching NIT stuff. I'll watch a game if we got a little.
2022 was the last in Madison Square Garden in New York.
So this is the fourth
2023 was in Las Vegas.
They moved
2024 in Indianapolis. Since
it was a flop in Las Vegas, that was it did not do what they wanted it to do.
You saw the crowds last night were really.
Well, this is an afterthought. This is sort of like that game we went to, LSU and St. Mary's,
which was during the season.
Yeah,
there was nobody.
There was nobody there. That was a quality non-conference matchup at that time, and there was nobody in the arena. I don't expect him to get that excited about a game like that.
The Illinois State quarterback you mentioned, Tommy Rittenhouse.
Yes.
He got signed 2 weeks ago by the British Columbia Lions, so he'll be in the CFL.
I could see that.
I could see that for sure. He kind of reminded me of like a
shorter, mobile. Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great game. 35-34 in overtime.
35-34 in overtime. Ouch.
One more thing I wanted to ask you about this.
What were they catching it again? Do you know, Max?
Ooh.
It was about a touchdown.
It was like 6.5, I want to say.
Yeah, about a touchdown.
I think it was more than
it might have been 9.5. It was like
I thought
just
it was more
under
than
a
a
key
touchdown.
number. It might have been 9.5.
We were playing North Dakota State, right?
I think it was Montana State they lost to. It was Montana State. I think it was 9.5, now that you mentioned that. But that was a great game, and FCS championship, as good as I can remember.
Yeah.
Is there anything to moving forward? I thought the quality of play last night in the Colorado-Oklahoma game was pretty good for two teams that haven't played in 3 weeks.
Yeah. And Colorado's down some players, too.
Colorado, their last game was March the 10th before last night. Is there anything to the idea that these tournaments help you retain players? I mean, there's a little bit more money, but mostly what I'm thinking is you're in there with them for 3 more weeks. You got 3 more weeks.
Well, that's why Colorado lost some players. They already hit the transfer portal.
Right. So does this?
Oklahoma had all of their players. I mean, it can't hurt.
I'm asking because what if LSU's in a situation next year?
Well, if you get to this point, it's already done. I mean, Colorado has already lost their players. I mean, Oklahoma has retained their players.
So do you think it helps in some cases? I know it didn't help Colorado.
No, if you get them here, Charlie, that's the biggest step.
Like stick around for 3 more weeks, and there's some money in this for you to go play in this tournament.
I don't think it's a ton of money, though.
It's not, but it's not nothing either. I mean,
well, the guys, impactful guys. I don't think it makes I don't think it makes any difference in the world.
Probably not. Portal opens on
you're
Tuesday.
talking about impactful players, the ones you're worried about. And their potential chance, there's 8 teams.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you go, there's no guarantee. Were they paying out the first 3 or 4?
No, I think everybody gets money. Right?
Everybody gets a little bit?
I think
and then
on the low end.
You have to give it to your whole roster.
Yeah.
You can't just wait it and say, okay, the MVP gets, triple, what everybody else
gets. It's probably pie in the sky, but if I'm just thinking aloud, if you can keep them on your campus and on your roster until just
the work
a couple
has
of
already
days
been done before you get here.
Until just a couple of days before the portal opens, probably not. Probably if they're going to go, they're going to go anyway. So
that's what we've seen. Oklahoma. I haven't done research on the teams that are participating tonight yet, but to see how many players that they lost or not. Our buddy Will Hill was doing that. Max, contributor on our podcast, he's writing for Fox Sports, and he's tracking it. So I'd reference him because he provided me with the information on, Colorado being down. It was like 3 players, and Oklahoma having all of their players.
Yep.
All of their players.
And they still covered. So
10.5 was that number. Montana State in Illinois State. 10.5 was
Big Ten's got 2 teams in the Final Four. Maybe the SEC can get the CBC and the NIT crowns. Maybe that's how they get them back. The two lower level tournaments.
You hoisting a banner? You hoisting a banner?
Who won the NIT last year?
I don't know.
Who won the crown last year?
I don't know.
Nebraska won the crown last year.
Okay.
Hoiberg thought it was. We just discussed this yesterday, Charlie. Remember?
I remember.
Reference of Ralph Sampson.
I remember you saying, yeah.
Yeah.
And back then it was a little bit bigger deal. No,
but I can't remember NIT. I know that. What we call Avila for
Avila.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is that you.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Cream. He's got.
I've heard that. I've heard Milk Chamberlain.
He's got a ton. He's got. He and I think it's the late Jared Lorenzen have probably the most that we've heard. I mean, he had a ton of nicknames as well.
I would not have gotten this one. Chattanooga beat UC Irvine in the NIT last year. So that goes to show you we don't remember who wins these things.
I had to guess a long time.
So but do you think that Nebraska didn't lose anybody from that team last year, and they added the red shirt, the lefty freshman that hit the game winner against Vanderbilt, on the drive-in layup. But he was on a team last year. But it cannot. These are handicap, and these are minor bowl games. Did not come to fruition last night. I thought first-year coach and Nico Medved, who came from Colorado State to Minnesota, they'd be way more excited. It was way more of an accomplishment for Minnesota to still be playing than it was for Baylor, who's won it all and has been a bit disappointed, who has more pros on their team. Didn't work out that way last night in the nightcap.
We're here at Bally's. Come on by and see us here today. Hang out this afternoon, get you something to eat over on the other side of the casino. NIT games tonight up on the big screen. A lot of college baseball today for a Thursday.
Day
because
games
there's some
all-night games.
All night,
everything?
Mostly. There's a couple exceptions, but SEC it's all at night.
The SEC is at night. All but 2 of the SEC series are going Thursday, Friday, Saturday to avoid Easter. LSU is one of the 2 that is going to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got a lot of games.
So LSU, Tennessee, and who else is playing on Easter?
Kentucky, Missouri, I believe it is.
Kentucky, Missouri. Did watch a little bit of Tony V, San Francisco. Early on, much lower profile than his antics, that we were familiar with at Tennessee. So just looking, kind of blending in, looking like a veteran to this point.
You're not dealing with kids, you're dealing with men.
Yes,
Kind of hard to complain about the strike zone anymore either.
That's right. Yeah,
it's a crowd pleaser too.
It is.
It is a crowd pleaser. One guy, one poor hump, he had Suarez, 1-2 pitch, called strike 3. Appeal, he won. 2-2 pitch, called strike 3. Appeal, he wins. Yeah. 3 full count pitch, called strike 3. Appeal, you get a walk. 3 in a row.
And then he missed a call at first base the next night too.
Oh, the same guy.
Yeah. It was a rough.
CB Buckner. Yeah.
CB Buckner. It was a rough go. Live at Bally's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, Handycast on YouTube, podcast on LSU Baseball. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. So this is sort of a local story. We've been monitoring what goes on with the Pirates since Paul Skeens has been there, and all the Pirates, is it just a matter of time before he gets out of there? And then we watched Skeens in the World Baseball Classic, and has that affected him through the first couple of starts here in the regular season? But also, what are the Pirates going to do? Are they just going to cheap this out and wait until Paul Skeens is a free agent and have him go to the Dodgers or the Mets or whoever? Are they really going to make a genuine attempt to strengthen the franchise? LSU baseball fans will remember Connor Griffin, who was the top prospect in the country in 2024 and was committed to LSU, though we knew that the chances of him getting there were as close to zero, if not zero, as you can get for a prospect of his talent. Well, Connor Griffin was drafted by the Pirates. He spent all of 2025 in the minor leagues. Through 3 different levels, he just tore up minor league pitching. His lowest was at 325, and he went to Indianapolis to open, much like Paul Skeens did. Opened the season that he got called up. He had a couple of starts, 2 or 3 starts, I think, in Indianapolis. Might have even been more than that. Griffin went there, had 16 at-bats, got 7 hits, and the Pirates called him up today, and he'll make his major league debut tomorrow. He's 19 years old. Here's the kicker part of it. Griffin has been offered a long-term deal by the Pirates. They have offered him an 8-year deal for $111 million. If you remember Roman Anthony with the Red Sox, who was called up last year, played in the World Baseball Classic, had a big home run there, and is similar in age to Griffin, signed an 8-year deal with the Red Sox,
right.
$130 million. Corbin Carroll, who had that monster
he's having a hell of a start, too.
With Arizona.
Only run of the game yesterday against Scooble, Oppo.
Yeah. So he got an 8-year deal for $111 million. Anthony got 8 years, $130 million. And right now, Griffin's offer is somewhere in between there, though it's thought to be close to the $111 million.
The center fielder from the Padres signed a similar deal.
Yeah, I don't have his numbers.
Okay.
But
I mean, same situation. He was going head up with Skeens for Rookie of the Year. He was very, very close. I'm drawing a blank, but he's up from Baltimore. He's not a college player. But, I mean, I thought all of these guys, you can make an argument leaving a little bit on the table.
Here's the trade-off is this. You are guaranteed money well past your rookie contract, well past your sacrifice and arbitration, but you are getting guaranteed money. Alex Bregman, who had spent some time in the big, took a deal like this. Aaron Nola took a deal like this, although a little bit later in their careers than where Griffin is now. If you don't take a deal like this, you are subjected to league minimums for 6 years. You can go to arbitration and get paid that way, but you're basically on almost a year-to-year basis. If you do this, you're guaranteed 9 figures. But the first couple of years where you could be technically a free agent, you sacrifice that. So it's a choice, Jimmy. I mean, if you're 19 years old, Connor Griffin is probably going to be a superstar. Every sign points to that. Good chance he makes double-digit All-Star teams in his career. But
I mean, how ready is he? I mean, he
couldn't dominate the minors any more than he did.
Okay, I know, but it's,
big league pitching.
It's a little bit of a crapshoot, Charlie. I mean, it's just you see guys. I mean, see Hall of Famers that they got to work their way in. I mean, it takes them a couple years, 2 or 3 years to kind of get adjusted to the major league level. It just does. Some guys like Roman Anthony, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank with the center fielder from the Padres, but, guys like him and Corbin Carroll. Mm-hmm. I mean, Carroll played college, so, but here's the thing with quietly saying, the Pirates aren't doing anything. Yes, they are. Okay, so secondary. Now, we know about Keller and Skeens. And I'm forgetting of the other young pitcher who's starting off.
Mizorowski?
No, for the Pirates. For the Pirates. Jones. Yeah.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So Jones, Keller, and Skeens, that's a start. They've already been there, okay? But Bubba Chandler was filthy in his start, and he is their number 1 pitching prospect, and might be the number 1 pitching prospect in all of baseball. Walked 6, but didn't give up a hit and struck out. But he is filthy. Ashcraft is another real promising arm. We'll see. He's not Chandler, but he's there. But the other 3 lineup adjustments that they made. Ryan O'Hearn was a trade deadline pickup by the Padres last year. Remember, the Padres always aggressive before the trade line from Baltimore, and he did well for them. He's with them, okay? Jake Mangum, Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. Remember him? Okay, he's a crowd favorite at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Okay? They pick him up. He's in the lineup, with the Pirates. Marcell Ozuna. I mean, the Braves are no, half-bit operation. I mean, he is in the middle of their lineup the last couple of seasons. He's in there, in the lineup from Atlanta. So they need 3 guys and their superstar who might just be taking some time to adjust. But O'Neal Cruz, he's having a hell of a start and looks like, he does the spectacular, but he's batting around 200. He can run. He's misjudging a fly ball. I mean, how many guys you can put lead off or clean up and play shortstop and center field? I mean, he is a ridiculous talent, but he's trying to fine-tune and polish his skills. So there's kind of this sneaky little chance that they can be good, The chalk is probably that these young players are going to be good, but they're better years of 3 years removed, in the future.
So if you're Connor Griffin, who turns 20 next month, you have a deal on the table. Let me split the difference between Carroll and Anthony's deal and say 120, make the math easy, for 8 years. $15 million a year for 8 years. But if you go the other way, you play 6 years where you're subject to league minimums and arbitration. But the last 2 years of the deal, he would be a 26-year-old. Essentially, he might get Juan Soto's deal, just to give you an example. Whatever Juan Soto's deal is plus 6 years of inflation. You're sacrificing the two. Jimmy, I'd take the $120. I'd take $120 million just in case this guy goes around second base one day and his knee goes out, or just in case one day he suffers some kind of injury, because you're still going to be a free agent at 28.
Is this the equivalent of getting an NFL team getting a quarterback on a rookie deal, having all of these guys?
Yeah, there's some similarities there.
And if you have to give him a little bit more, well, this is your only chance, because if he does what he's expected to do for 4 years from now, 3 years, whatever it is, you're not competing with the Dodgers. You never will.
No.
You never will. They can spend a lot more, but they will never, ever be able to compete.
This is your chance to keep him there for 8 years.
This is their window.
Yeah.
This is their window. And Skeens flat out, in an interview with Dan Patrick, flat out asked, are you going to hang around if you're on a team that can't compete? And he answered it, did that typical Skeens. Yeah, at some point, I want to win. But I also want to be, I think it's of value to be a part of, when this thing comes around and we have a chance, I want to be a part of rebuilding this thing as well. So quietly they are doing completely shutting it down. They're doing what they can within their restrictions of their means. Is that fair?
Yeah, and it's a lot easier for them to get into the draft, and if you're lucky enough to come into a kid like this, offer him this, okay? This could blow up in the Pirates' face, okay? We don't know for sure. We're as certain as we can be with what he's done in the minors, but we don't know for sure. There have been other top picks that have not panned out. There's a chance.
There's a chance, and you got to invest small, because you can't wait till they're established.
No,
you can't compete with the established guys.
You got
to get the guy from UAB, who's the best player on the best team in the country.
On his way, on his way up. So Griffin makes his debut tomorrow for the Pirates.
Skeens looked better yesterday.
Yeah,
he looked better. It still wasn't on that pitch count though.
And I think
and they flat out
that's
said that.
WBC related, don't you? Whether they said it or not.
The manager flat out said no, we're ready. He went from, I talked about the innings as a rookie to 25 more innings. We expect to take that next step.
Yeah.
As far as his workload.
Just maybe not in April because of the WBC.
Well, every starter is limited in the first 2 or 3 starts.
Building up.
But still 70, low 70s is
77
that caught
pitches.
me. That was a little less than most. So
I think he's a touch compromised because of the WBC.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Our great long-standing staff, our great team at Legacy Title. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marion Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Fernando Tatis, is that who you're trying to think
No,
of?
Jackson Merrill.
Jackson Merrill. Okay.
Jackson Merrill. No.
Yeah.
He was the rook. He signed it. No, Tatis has been around for a while, man.
Live at Bally's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Bally's Casino and Sportsbook on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Bally's live at lunch. Again, your chance to win the remainder of, and it's still a lot left, of the $25,000 in free play here in our NCAA tournament contest. Come in and make a $20 parlay or a $40 straight bet for entry. We have our drawings at 7:15 and 9:15 on Saturday night. Get your Papa Shot on to see what you're drawing for, and well, you can win part of that free play plus the regular drawings here on Saturday night. So enjoy.
I'm ready to hoop.
You ready to hoop?
Yeah, I am. We're eligible, Charlie.
We are? Okay.
Yes, we are.
That's
We're not
good.
employees.
All right.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, Armando told me. Yes, we're eligible.
Very
Come on,
nice.
man. Charlie, it's easier than swinging a club.
Good thing.
Oh, yeah. I'm speaking for both of us.
I can put a basketball through a hoop a lot better than I can swing a golf club.
Let's remind people, Colucci is with us today. He had to be moved back to noon, so we will have him on hockey picks and everything else.
Well, you know where he was, why he's late today, right?
Oh, he's in a meeting.
No. Well, yeah, he is in a meeting, but I don't think you know what meeting. He's at the airport to pick up Kirk Cousins. New Raider quarterback.
You can do worse than him.
I think it's a perfect move for the Raiders.
You can do worse than him.
I think it's a perfect move for the Raiders.
I could tell you this. I'll put my money on he'll have better numbers than Geno Smith did this past year.
And at a discount, too. It's a $20 million contract, which for a pseudo-starting quarterback is just fine.
Pete Carroll just didn't have a chance, or was he really bad? I know it's both, but
that offensive line was so
exactly,
terrible.
Yes. I think Ashton Genty's a good back. I mean, I'm not. You just don't give him a chance, man.
Jacoby Myers was a receiver for them. Couldn't really get loose at all. When they traded in Jacksonville, he became Jackson. I think for the last month of the season, he was Jacksonville's best receiver.
And the tight end from Georgia was in and out.
Brock Bowers.
But you gotta have him.
Yeah.
I mean, when they are so weapon limited and the offensive line and Geno Smith,
he missed a little bit of time. But to have Genty and Bowers and Myers and look, Geno's not as bad as he was last year. Behind a reasonable offensive line, so I don't know if Carroll had a chance or not.
He was bad too.
Certainly through one. Certainly through 1 year, you would have thought he would have got maybe a little bit more time. But I love this move. I don't want to have to shove Mendoza out there behind. Look, they're going to make some improvements to the line through the draft, I'm sure, but I don't want to have to shove my prize guy out there behind a Swiss cheese offensive line until I have to, and that's assuming that he's ready.
Kirk Cousins right now is not much different than what Chris Chandler was for the Oilers when they brought in Steve McNair. They were older, they were fragile, and they were certainly limited in mobility, but productive. And so it's very I think that McNair, coming from the SWAC to the NFL, certainly had to adjust. And even when he started playing, they sat him for an entire year. And I think their patience proved successful. I mean, what people were projecting McNair, what we've seen at other places, for coming over from a mediocre at best type of organization / team, I mean, that he had a heck of a career. for and they sat him the entire year or a little bit into the second year.
They sat him the entire first year.
That was Mahomes too.
Mahomes sat the entire first year.
He started the last game, which was inconsequential, where they had Alex Smith was a Pro Bowler and a initial Pro Bowler, not some kind of add-on like Sanders this past year, which was the absolute low point of replacement Pro Bowlers. But he started that last game against Denver when their seeding was already set.
This is perfect on a number of levels. Number one, it doesn't break the bank. Forget about Max. What was that ridiculous number that they put out there? This contract is worth $172 million. Don't pay attention to that. It's got one
Whose
guarantee.
Contract?
Cousins. Okay, they put a lot of voidable years to make the cap number work. His actual salary is 1 year, $20 million.
It's officially a 5-year, $172 million, but it's in essence a 1 year fully guaranteed.
Yeah, don't let that throw you.
Deal.
He's going to make $20 million this year, and then they can cut him. That was just that's creative cap accounting.
But Mendoza has started enough games. He does have some college reps, but he is.
I don't have to rush him. If the offensive line is not improved.
Okay. You're speaking sensibly right now. Those season ticket holders and those fans, they want to see him day one, snap one. You know that. I know. I mean, that's how fans are, and they're tired of being bad. They want to see what they have.
If I'm the GM and the coach over there, I have no problem saying I'm sitting this guy because I'm not going to. Now, if he's ready, if he shows up at camp and he's great, then fine, put him out there. If the offensive line is greatly improved, fine, put him out there. I mean, they spent a bunch of money to get the best center in football out of Baltimore, so they have addressed the problem, but maybe it doesn't click right away. Okay. They may need a little bit of time. So I can shove Kirk Cousins out there if he's got to get beat up, if Mendoza needs a little bit of time to acclimate. This is win-win, and it doesn't break the bank on me. This is a perfect move for the Raiders, in my opinion. This is exactly – now, Kirk Cousins –
So, Max, what game is he starting by, though? That's all Pines have, but game 6?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
You know how it is. I mean,
it'll be before Halloween. Sometime in the month of October.
Give me what game?
6 is a reasonable thing.
I go game 4 maybe.
But I have this insurance policy now. I don't have to.
Well, they're not competing for anything this year.
No, I don't have to shove him out.
No, this is not insurance. This is what we talked about initially. This is to nurture him along and not rush him behind a bad offensive line. The offensive line is going to be better. It can't be worse, but it's still going to be bad. They can't be. There's no way they can improve that much. But you want to ruin him. You want to, man, once those quarterbacks start looking at the rush, they're done. You're not developing at that point. You're done.
By the way, this will bring Kirk Cousins' career earnings to $343 million.
People get upset. Players get upset when they get franchise tagged, right? It's not always the worst thing.
And he had it happen to him twice.
Right. Well, yeah. I want it as many times as I can. You give me top 5 in my position.
You're top 5, but only for 1 year.
Okay, but if you keep getting it, I mean,
And they changed the rules to where you can't do it more than twice anymore. That's more money than Russell Wilson has made. Just somebody on a similar age track.
It's not always the worst path, but you gotta produce enough to where you're going to get a decent deal on top of it when they finally quit franchising you.
Made $100 million more than Peyton Manning made in his career. Of course, Manning's been retired for a while now. He's not. He's not.
The most amusing thing to me about this is while they're not comparable in their games on the field, Mendoza's certainly more mobile than Kirk Cousins is, they've been compared together all the time because their personalities are very similar. Kirk Cousins and Mendoza kind of outgoing a little
like that.
goofy.
Just flat out goofy.
Yes. Yeah, they're very similar in their personalities. So.
It's goofy. Yeah, they're kind of goofy. Yeah, they. I don't think Mendoza, but the difference, Mendoza is almost like this ridiculously innocent shelter kid. Cousins just.
So let's send him to Vegas.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's just, the hyper faith and but everything is really, I mean, he's just, I don't know, just Cousins, just a little bit more dorky than innocent, maybe. I don't know, but it's a little bit more attitude than that's what it was. He's got more attitude. Now, will Mendoza develop that attitude being sort of because, but they have a different path. He was selected in the same draft class as RG3 and so much later. So nobody was giving him much. This guy's being drafted first. He's got way more expectation level. But so they have a different path. But Mendoza seems to be everything, such a safe play character-wise. And because of where he was drafted, because he had to, I think Cousins had a little bit more chip on his shoulder than Mendoza.
When he came out of Michigan State, or when he
was like sixth-round draft pick, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But
the same draft class as RG3.
Did he have that attitude coming out of Michigan State? I don't remember.
Well, Charlie, no, we didn't really cover Cousins enough to know. But the guy RG3 was taken in the first round, and he was taken in the sixth. He was clearly no expectation for him.
Right.
I mean, think about the quarterbacks taken in the sixth round now. I mean, that is a flyer, man. They taking flyers on guys in the second round.
Well, Washington did it twice. A flyer on a guy who turned into a starter. They did it with Gus Frerotte, too.
I kind of like Mendoza. I can live with I mean, I don't have to worry about – yes, putting him in Sin City is a little bit of –
Actually, I think it's the best thing. I mean, he's the least likely of the quarterbacks to get into any kind of trouble off the field. Lord knows there's enough temptations out there. He's less likely to – succumb to that.
He grew up in Miami too.
Well,
and he
kept himself out of trouble.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'd feel pretty safe. I have not seen one draft analyst, one coach, anything that says they shouldn't take him at number one. I hadn't seen anybody say that.
No.
Not even quietly.
No, there hasn't. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. If your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine, do it right the first time because you use the gel wind windows with RLS wood. I mean, they are going to last. They are functional. And they look great as well. Call them up and get an initial consultation, man. Bring them in, and they'll go from there, man. It's just do it right the first time. It's going to save you some money long time. 288-8138. They're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on Airline Highway in Prairieville. Do like I did when I needed to replace my wood windows. Call Relief Windows. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.
Live at lunch from Bally's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Bally's Casino and Sportsbook on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Underway over in San Antonio, the Texas Open last tournament before the Masters. Top 10 Tony Finau, part of a three-way tie for the lead at 4 under par. They're still on the front nine there. Will Zalatoris.
I'm watching Zally right now, man.
Yeah, he's 4 under.
I'll never forget he missed that putt, though.
Which one are you talking about?
I think it was in the North Carolina tournament or something. Oh, humans will remember it. He was like 60-1. He got a little tough, but he's kind of fighting it back. Whoa, what a putt there for birdie. That was a bomb from Zalatoris. So it's showing some highlights on the Golf Channel before their real coverage starts.
Colucci will be with us in hour number 2. Humans with us, so we get a lot of thoughts on the Final Four coming up this weekend in Indy. Again, come on by here and get your free play tickets in. $20 parlay, $40 straight entry will get you into the drawing on Saturday night here for the remainder of the $25,000 in free play at Bally's Casino and Sportsbook. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci, how you doing, my man?
Doing well, Mr. Ott. How you guys doing out in Baton Rouge?
We're doing good. We appreciate you, taking time and adjusting your time to still accommodate and come on where you're beloved. And, your first ballot Mardi Gras Hall of Famer. And so we're still trying to work out the deals where you can be the king of sucrose in Franklin, Louisiana, like Charlie and his entire family. Charlie's royalty, I grew up on the wrong side of the river. It's just,
here we go.
I'm, we're trash, So.
Oh, stop it.
God. Oh, my Lord. Going down that road. You're like, oh, what are you, crocodile fodder, we call that?
Crocodile fodder. You pick up Kirk Cousins at the airport a little while ago?
Yeah,
Is that where you've been?
You had to go pick up Cousins from the airport? Is that why you were busy earlier?
Oh, no. I wasn't at the airport, I'll be honest with you. I was sitting right here at Summerlin, enjoying my office and meetings as usual.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How are things going with the new Switch, the resort at Summerlin, the Caesars, menu and everything? Things are going pretty good. I mean, you got to tell us about the new TVs set up, huh?
Yeah, they have a ton of, I'll be honest with you, we got a ton of mobile sign-ups that are just, awesome. And, we're here, we're ready to sign you up. It's a seamless, process. It's so easy. There's no paperwork. It's done. You can basically sign it and just make your initial deposit right here at the resort at some.
Joe, we got to try again. We got to reconnect.
Dwayne, you coming in and out, so Jordan's going to try and reconnect with you so we have a better connection. We are really having difficulties. We apologize for that. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch, where I have an account at Burbank and Blue Bonnet. And United Community Bank, your business is our business. We support the hardworking folks behind local business, all the way from initial startup loans to ongoing planning and assessments. United Community Bank is here for you. Our great team of bankers, David Henry, David Campbell, Hunter Creed, Nicole Glover, Heath Meir, Prentice Wilkes. Stop on by and see how our great team of bankers can help you and your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. So as we try and reconnect with Colucci. Max, I did have to ask you, is our boy Mark Howie's going to be out for the Masters?
I don't know yet. He's withdrawing this week. It makes sense. I wouldn't want to test the back this week. He was planning on playing this week, and he withdrew. I think there's a big question mark on his status. There's a question mark on a lot of guys, right? Scotty Scheffler hasn't played in a little while. His daughter's being born, so a lot of questions at the Masters.
All right, we can hear you much better now. Could hear you get a cleaner signal, Colucci. Thanks for reconnecting with us. But, I mean, we really couldn't hear you. So talk about how the new and the growth over at the resort in Summerlin is going. You're talking about, we did hear you was getting a lot of mobile sign-ups.
Yeah, definitely, Jimmy. A lot of people are enamored. They love to sit at home and just gamble on in-game wagering, the props, all that's available on the Caesars Sports Betting app. So, it's just been fabulous, and it's been going along very good. We have tons of new restaurant amenities here, too, at the resort at Summerlin, if you're keeping track with the property itself. And, the new Caesars Sportsbook, it adds, everything is coming together at a perfect time. And, the March Madness crowd was just off the book. The book was packed every day. We were giving away scratch-off cards, Caesars, hats, shirts. We had a Papa shot set up, so, you make a bunch of jumpers and a bunch of little shots there. And, you could elevate your prize levels. And it's just been a lot of fun. We had a Vegas night viewing party with Derek Engelin and Chance. And, everything is coming together with Caesar Sports and the resort at Summerlin. It's just a great affiliation. And it's totally different from the way I was brought up, the old school brick and mortar with Vinny and Chris and, that affiliation. That's basically 90% of my career, in race and sports. And now you get to see the huge side of it, the multiple states that you could gamble in with the Caesars Sports app. And just the affiliations with Caesars Palace, which other properties on the Strip where, basically you could cash your Caesars tickets, sports tickets that you purchase, say, at Caesar's Palace at my property as well. So, it's just a real good feel, and the betting menu is just exquisite. It's off the charts, guys. We book everything.
Well, from the department, I've been waiting to get your thoughts on from what have you done for me lately. The guy that brought a championship to Las Vegas, he got let go. They're making a change, made a switch, and fired the Golden Knights coach. What do you expected, surprised, right thing, wrong thing? I mean, this guy, he got him a championship.
Yeah, I was scratching my head, I'll be honest with you. 8 games left in the regular season. Do you want to really pull that trigger? Plus, their schedule is very light coming down the stretch. So, maybe they felt it was a good time. You get some wins. You get John Tortorella in there. He starts to be a little forceful, a little aggressive. But he goes into the playoffs possibly on a winning streak. You're playing Vancouver twice, Calgary, a bunch of teams that have suspect records. So, it was kind of a head-scratcher on the time. I didn't agree with the timing. I would have probably waited till the end of the season. Probably not going to win a Stanley Cup here, guys. I'm being very honest and blunt. You have several teams in the Western Conference, the big three that are ahead of them in Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. But, there's a tremendous drop-off after you get to Edmonton, the Vegas Golden Knights, and Anaheim. The wild card drop-off is tremendous, and the Western Conference hasn't been as competitive as the Eastern Conference at all this year. So I kind of felt that they were going to hold on to Cassidy until the end of the season. But, there's a lot of people now that are coming out, and these reporters that here, I have great relationships with some of them. Some of them I question. You got a lot of guys coming out saying now, oh, well, I talked to a player, and it was a living hell, working for Bruce Cassidy and having him coach, and it was, each day I would go into work, and I really didn't want to. But, yeah, you won a Stanley Cup with this guy. And were the new players that are saying this that were, acquired in the last season? Is it the old school players? I just don't know why this doesn't come out, that the players are not feeling pleasant with Bruce Cassidy prior to the firing. Then the guy gets fired, and they're telling you, well, I spoke to players, and the locker room was uneasy. Yeah, but you're still not mentioning the players. So, it's very weird how the hockey, how hockey is perceived out here in Las Vegas, and how the journalists and how the reporters follow the team basically report on the team. But, Cassidy's a winner. He's proven that. He proved that with the Bruins. He proved that with bringing the Stanley Cup here to Las Vegas, which is, incredible for the city. And just to terminate him with 8 games left when you're still 5-6 games over 500, it doesn't make much sense to me.
All right, Doug, got some hockey games tonight. Who are we looking at tonight?
Well, we're going to start right off with my Canadians. They're playing at an exceptional night. And not that the Rangers right now haven't improved in the second half of the regular season, but the Canadians need to really win this game tonight. They thrashed Tampa the other night. They're on a huge winning streak. Cole Caulfield really wants to get 50 goals. We talked about him last week. He's continuing on. He scored 2 or 3 goals in the last week, getting really, really close. You saw Nate McKinnon got the 50 goals last night. I think it's only a matter of time for Caulfield. They're going to go into Madison Square Garden with a chip on their shoulder. I'm definitely looking to lay on 35, which it is at Caesar Sports, but you could definitely shop around and find better odds, and lay a little less on the road. But the Montreal Canadiens definitely need this game. Okay, let's go to the Buffalo-Ottawa game now. Buffalo, they haven't been playing their best hockey. Let's keep that in mind. They're staying ahead of Tampa and Montreal, but, it's getting tough now. And Ottawa is one of those teams that I talk about time and time again. You're looking at the Sabres. They're right there, second in the conference. I believe they may even be tied with the Hurricanes. But they're getting plus tonight, or at least even money, on the road. So, Ottawa is showing that they're a good home team. Let's take a chance with the Senators tonight. We're laying 120 here at the Resort at Summerlin and Caesar Sports. Once again, you could, shop around, lay a little less on that before it starts to get up there. But Ottawa is far superior at home than they are on the road. They're going to take it to Buffalo tonight. I think it's an excellent, excellent spot. The Vegas Golden Knights, we just wanted to rip them apart, but now, playing Calgary minus 250, why not bet them lay the goal line? John Tortorella, this guy is an excellent coach that they chose to replace Cassidy with. He's getting older now, so, he might just want to go out and try and grab that Stanley Cup right before his retirement. So, Vegas, they need to win games. They need to keep pace with Edmonton and Anaheim. Very important. I would lay the puck line tonight. Vegas Golden Knights at home, minus 1.5. And, if you're parlaying, you could lay the 250, but I would recommend betting the puck line in this marquee matchup for the Vegas Golden Knights. Not so much for Calgary, but Vegas needs this win desperately. Like I said, Edmonton is remaining hungry. Anaheim, they're jockeying for position in this Pacific division, and it's very important to stay out of the wild card drop.
All right, yeah, like we said, where we're doing a show today here at Bally's downtown at the Atrium at Baton Rouge, Montreal, a little bit better, lighter juice at minus 130. Same with Ottawa, minus 120, and the Golden Knights puck line. Golden Knights puck line down here is both the same, even money. Minus 1.5 at even money. So, were you at the book when the kid, the freshman from Indianapolis, nailed a 30-footer to knock out Duke?
No, I was actually at home. I was enjoying the game. What a comeback that was, I'll be honest with you. Credit to Hurley. He just knows how to win at this time of the year. And, you're looking at a guy who basically, when you get to the Sweet 16, against the spread, his record is perfect. I believe it's 15 or 16-0. And, now you're looking at this huge game against Illinois this upcoming weekend. It's going to be difficult, but UConn got the job done. They were able to put Duke's lights out, something St. John's, my team, couldn't do. And UConn showed that the Big East is definitely a very, very tough conference. And, they're starting to take a little action now. We opened it up at 2 at CC Sports. We're leveling out, still at 2. Initial money came on Illinois a little bit, but now we're starting to see some UConn money come in. The initial reaction from the Sharps was to bet Illinois, but now we're getting a lot of buyback on UConn, and, rightfully so. They're definitely a difficult team to stop, especially at this time of the season.
What about the Michigan-Arizona game?
Michigan-Arizona, Caesar Sports opened that up at Pick'em, and now we are sitting Michigan 1.5. So a ton of Michigan money came in from the Sharps at that Pick'em line, but we're seeing 1.5 all over town. I'm waiting for some of this Arizona buyback to come back in, and I think we're going to get it. We're in close proximity to Arizona. We're their next-door neighbors, so I'm anticipating when people start to commute, especially today, tomorrow, we're going to see some of this Arizona money come back. But Michigan is very flashy, as is Arizona. That's why look at the total differentiation, guys. 18 points higher than the game that is scheduled earlier, Illinois and Connecticut. That is at 139.5. Arizona, Michigan, 157.5. So these are two high-octane offenses.
All right, and we are exactly 4 weeks away in a couple of days from the Kentucky Derby. Any impactful? Renegade had a nice win recently. Any Derby preps that you're looking at as far as being pivotal for the running of the Roses in 4 weeks?
Yeah, Renegade looked very good. Don't get me wrong, but this weekend is going to be the telling tale. We're going to see who the best Bob Baffert, horse is, with Potante heading on against Cherokee Nation in the Santa Anita Derby, and we also have Talk to Me Jimmy going against Napoleon Solo, another Chad Brown horse also on the outside in the Wood Memorial. I'm going to give you guys a long shot. I like the 2 in the Wood Memorial. Talk to Me Jimmy. That's a Rudy Rodriguez horse. He's going to be probably in the 5-6-1 range. He's going to just sit outside of Napoleon Solo, and they're going to have to come and catch him in the lane if he's healthy. And he's been working, longer distances. 6 furlong workouts, which trying to get that stamina in. He's been on kind of a layoff. It's been a few months, but I think Rudy will definitely have this horse in shape. And I like Potante to beat Cherokee Nation. Cherokee Nation is going to take a ton of money at the windows after that last maiden special victory. But Potante learned a lot in his last. He's definitely looking to qualify with both of these horses possibly for the Kentucky Derby. I think Potante reels him in late.
Okay, so then I couldn't catch all of that. That's Saturday, Dwayne?
Right.
With
They're both,
Pocante?
yes, the Wood Memorial, yes.
Wood Memorial.
Pocante
Okay.
at Pocante at Santa Anita. The Wood Memorial is Talk to Me, Jimmy.
Okay, that's the Santa Anita Derby?
Yes.
Okay, and that's so Santa Anita Derby,
That's
Pocante,
Pocante.
Baffert horse there, and which one in the Wood?
Talk to me, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. I'm talking to you.
I mean, if there was ever a horse that he should bet, it's called Talk to Me,
help
Jimmy.
him out, man.
Yes, exactly. You ought to be able to remember that one.
I thought you was just going back and forth with me.
No, that's the name of the horse. Talk to me, Jimmy.
I'm sorry. I'm trusting. I just thought that was your queen's attitude. I'm sorry.
Talk
to
to
me,
me,
Colucci.
Jimmy.
You trust me. When I get a horse, when I get a horse, and my best horse. Colucci, don't worry. When I get a horse, the name of it, Talk to Me, Colucci.
Yeah.
Okay?
There you go.
All right.
I love you, my brother.
Oh, jeez.
You're the best. Follow Dwayne on Twitter at NYBookieDwayne. Sorry, Colucci. I'm sorry. I'm slow.
No
Be patient.
apology. Let's break it down one more time. The Wood Memorial is Talk to Me, Jimmy. And Santa Anita is Pocante.
How can I not bet that horse?
You're the best, Dwayne. We appreciate it, brother. All right. Have a good weekend. Good luck to you.
That's got to be all me, right? I mean, how can I not bet
really,
it?
I thought he was like, I wasn't listening to him. I thought he was giving that New York attitude. I said, well, give me the name of the horse and the one.
and that was it. We're brought to you in part by the Pierre Part Store, the Thibodeau Store, and also now in Lockport and La Rose. Hey, listen, it's big crawfish weekend. Biggest crawfish weekend of the year. So get your crawfish washed. Nobody likes dirty crawfish. Get your crawfish washers, the blues, the purples, and the reds at all the locations of the Thibodeau Store. Make sure for either Good Friday or for Easter Sunday that your crawfish are washed. They've got all three of the different crawfish washers in stock. Go to the website, ThibodeauStore.com, for all your lawn care made easy. Gardening tools are all on special right now. Deals of the week. Save up to 50% on the Do It Best lawn and garden tools. If you're getting your property up to speed here as we have entered spring, make yard work a breeze. Shop Greenworks. That's on the website too. All of your cedar spreaders. And then once you get everything up to speed, man, get your outdoor cooking equipment, your patio furniture so you can enjoy your outdoor areas at your home. Again, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. Highway 70 in Pierre Part. Online, you can get to all four properties at ThibodeauStore.com. The Thibodeau Store. Live at Bally's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Bally's Casino and Sportsbook on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. If you're hurting, Dr. Michael Goff and his staff help you out. They've helped our family out a ton of times. If you got back pain, neck pain, muscle soreness, things that are keeping you from getting a good night's sleep or maybe restricting your motion, let them help you out. They'll get you into a program that'll target those problem areas and get you to feeling better. Whether it's just some simple stretches and exercise that can help you out, or you need a dry needle or electric nerve stimulation, cryo or ultrasound therapy, they can help you out. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla, Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. A couple more notes on Connor Griffin. I find this stuff interesting, Jimmy, when you get something that is so out of the ordinary in baseball. When Connor Griffin starts tomorrow or gets in the game tomorrow, he'll be the first teenager in a Major League Baseball game in 8 years. The last one, well, I know what you thought of Juan Soto at the beginning of his career. He's the first position player as a teenager to play in a Major League Baseball game since Juan Soto. He's the first position player as a teenager to play within his team's first 7 games in a season since Adrian Beltre. Now you're going back almost 30 years. Beltre's going to be a Hall of Famer.
A-Rod, I remember, was 19.
A-Rod was 19. Going back even further than that.
He's a great example, Charlie. It took him a few years, man.
And he was on a playoff team. Seattle was a playoff team when he came up. I mean, that was it.
They were?
that you had
rookie
Griffey.
year?
I want to say they were a rookie. If it wasn't his rookie year, it was damn close after that because they had Ken Griffey Jr. was in his prime. Randy Johnson was there.
Buhner.
Jay Buhner was there. I mean, they had an offensive.
Tino Martinez.
Tino Martinez was there. They had an offensive, a lot of firepower. So if they weren't his rookie year, it was pretty close after that. He is the youngest position player in a game within the first 7 games of a season since Andrew Jones, and now you're going back to 1997. Just to give you an idea of how much they think of this young man. These guys, these names, and A-Rod's another one, if you go back a little bit further. Or Griffey Jr., who was also – Griffey Jr. was an all-star as a teenager, so he's sort of in a category one of one. But I'm curious to see what he does. And, no, I don't expect him to come out and hit 300 or, blast 30 home runs the rest of the season.
What did Anthony do last year?
Roman Anthony last year, that's a good question.
It's pretty good. Not bad for, it's tough, man.
It was a slow start. I remember that, but he came on a little bit later. Anthony last
played half the year? That's
he played 71 games.
Oh, not even close. No.
71 games.
He played a few weeks.
A
month.
Last year?
71 games. Oh, 71 at bats. 71 games or 71 at bats?
71 games.
Okay, almost a half a second. Okay,
yeah.
My bad. Okay.
He had 257 at bats. He hit 292, 8 homers, 32 runs batted in. That's not bad. I mean, that's
what did he bat?
292.
I mean,
he's 71.
Massaro think he might be the best. I mean, to put him on that world base. I mean, he's pretty ready for how early he is. I mean,
yeah.
Well, how old was Jackson Merrill when they brought him?
20. Maybe 21.
I don't know. He never played at college, so he's kind of.
Anthony was 20 when they brought him up last year.
It wasn't last year; it was the year before. It's the year before. Skeens' first year, they were duking it out.
Oh, you're talking about Merrill. I was talking about Anthony.
I'm well aware of both of them. So but I think they're all the same. See, this is what they're expecting out of this guy. I mean. Man, Anthony and Merrill setting the bar high, though. And that's really –
Anthony had the big home run in the game in Houston.
But these are the guys that got their deal.
You were saying
Anthony got his deal before. Merrill had his entire rookie season before he got his deal.
You said
Merrill was 20, about to turn 21.
Yeah, we just said that.
20. You said that Massaro thinks he's the best.
Oh, no, he's a Red Sox fan.
That's why I was asking.
But he thinks he's – could be the best player in baseball.
Okay.
Very soon.
I thought he was comparing him to Red Sox greats already, and if he is, look, there's a lot of pretty good guys that patrol the outfield at Fenway.
Sky's the limit, Jack.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
I've watched his.
No, but what they think. So, and again, you've seen him.
I got no problem with him putting him at this point in his career.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So don't forget our friends at Supreme Rice. And you doing your seafood this weekend, go check out my Powerball Rice. It's wherever you find your Supreme Rice in pretty much every Baton Rouge area grocery store. My home grocery store is at Rouse's at Burbank and Lee, or Burbank and Burbank and Lee. It's right there, next to Finn Bomb. So you can do the Powerball Rice, you can do the Jasmine Rice, but all of our Supreme Rice in there. Grown, milled process right here in the state of Louisiana. But, man, if you haven't tried it, try that Powerball rice. It's a thick, long-grain rice, restaurant-quality type of rice. Not a whole lot of residue when you rinse it off. Really, really good stuff. Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com.
Live at Bally's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch from Valley's Casino and Sportsbook on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's go out to Las Vegas. Man, he's battling allergies, battling all kinds of stuff. Hopefully he's not battling the March Madness blues. It is a tougher handicap than it is during a regular season. No situational handicapping in a tournament. Everybody's, playing all out. Matt, how you been, buddy? How's the tournament treating you so far?
It's been pretty good, not great. I would say pretty solid tournament so far, but it's not over yet. I've got UConn at 16-1 and Michigan at 20-1, and I'd like to get that Michigan bet through for sure, but got a long way to go. I think the most people I know, I think the tournament, in terms of betting, has been a pretty good one. I think the tournament, in terms of viewing and just fan interest and drama, I think the tournament's been outstanding. And a lot of times our expectations get too high for these big events, and it can be a letdown if you don't have enough buzzer beaters or great games. I think this tournament's been awesome.
I'm never disappointed with the tournament. Some a little bit more than others. We don't have the mid-majors as prevalent in the early days that we used to. Right. Even with historical high lines for the first 2 days of the tournament, it was chalk friendly, and it continues to be. It took a hell of a comeback for one of the regional finals to even be close to number. Iowa, Illinois. A lot of people say Iowa, Illinois. Iowa for about 32, 34 minutes, man, winning the game outright. They just, Illinois didn't turn the ball over and didn't miss a free throw down the stretch to pull away. Right. So, but no, you can't. Man, if your first Final Four is you go down and see Jordan hit the shot from the left wing in the Superdome against, I'm sold, man. It's just a matter of how good it's going to be. But I do think that more and more mid-majors have to even buckle down and rig the deck in their conference tournaments and give their top two seeds, straight to the semifinals, like some do already. But the regional finals are close to a chalk fest. But where it's more and more of the pace and space and the three-point oriented, kind of the NBA filter down, I'm seeing teams that can win other ways. UConn was horrible from three, but they got back into the game where they finally could get hot at the end from three in so many different ways against Duke. Illinois against Iowa, they shot so poorly, can do it so many ways. And Michigan and Arizona depend for the three-point shot maybe less than any. So you see more complete teams. And to me, college basketball is getting easy buckets and free throws and preventing easy buckets and free throws. That's the constant. And I think you got more complete teams in this Final Four.
Yeah, in terms of the tournament as a whole, I thought, you were talking about the mid-majors or the Cinderella-type teams. High Point was legit. That was a really legit Cinderella-type team. And a lot of people tend to forget that Siena led Duke with 8 minutes to go. In the first round, that was a 1-16 game. So I don't think Cinderella's completely dead, but obviously you're going to have fewer of them. And, we've had plenty of bad beat. I was on Iowa +7 in that game, right? Felt like you had the right side with the Hawkeyes almost the whole way. Fell apart in the last 5 or 6 minutes. I had Santa Clara against Kentucky. That was a tough one to lose, but I also had a couple lucky wins, just have a couple lucky wins. You hope to balance it out. I had UConn against Duke, and the UConn looked dead, down 19. Like you said, 1 for 18 from three. Then they hit 4 of 5 to finish the game, and I still can't believe, we're sitting here, 5-6 days later, I still can't believe that UConn hit that shot. Braylon Mullins hit that 35-foot shot to beat Duke. But that was incredible. That game was an all-time classic. But you're right about not every team's going to jack up a bunch of threes, even though that's the way basketball's played today. Arizona, only 26% of its field goal attempts come from three. That rates 363 out of 365 in college basketball. And you just think about how good that team is, and they don't rely on the three at all. And Illinois is last in the nation in forcing turnovers. And we're talking about Final Four teams here. I don't think anybody can have a super strong opinion on this Michigan-Arizona game. You have two of the best teams we've seen in college hoops in the past 5 years or so, and they're going head-to-head on Saturday night. And both of them have a few NBA players. Both of them are strong in the paint. Don't rely on a bunch of three-point shooting. I give a slight lean to the Wolverines. I think they're a little bit better at scoring at the rim, defending at the rim, and that helps neutralize what Arizona does best. And that's get points in the paint. They get a bunch of free throw attempts. And I don't think Arizona's going to be able to do that against Michigan. That said, if you wanted to flip the argument and make a case for Arizona, I could see that side of it too. So that's what I think is so great about this weekend's games. I know a lot of people are really strong in Illinois, but how much confidence can you have betting against Dan Hurley and UConn?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Let's stick on Michigan and Arizona for a second. But don't both teams want to attack the rim more and both defend the rim so much better? So isn't it strength versus strength or tendency attacking strength? And doesn't that lend itself to a lower scoring game, maybe an under in this building?
It could be, and I would only look under. I mean, I don't think the refs are going to call this so tight where there's going to be a bunch of fouls and free throws, because you don't want to foul out all the stars or, the frontline players on both teams. Put them on the bench in foul trouble. So I don't think it's going to be called that tight. Like you said, in this venue, too, the shooting might be a little bit off as well. And that's why I tend to lean, like you said, strength versus strength. I think it could be more of a half-court game where it's tougher to score. It's going to be really tough to score at the rim. And I don't think they're going to call a bunch of fouls, lead to a bunch of free throw attempts. So I would bet under, if anything, in that game. I'm actually not even going to bet the game before it starts because I got Michigan 20-1. And I think this is going to be a really good live betting game as well. I'd love at some point in the game to be able to get, Arizona plus 5.5 or something like that. I think live betting's the way. If you have futures, you have to attack a game like that.
As far as the Hurley narrative, I mean, it's not a narrative. It's unheard of, man.
It's a fact.
Including this one, it's a 17-1 straight up and against the spread. The two national champions, and the thing I'm impressed with them mostly those were completely different rosters from year one to year two, and they both won. They run to 6 in a row and cover 6 as well. The loss last year, the one straight up loss, damn, that's his weakest team as he's had of these 4. And they went toe-to-toe. That was a 50-50 game. It took some Clayton Jr. heroics again for Florida to pull that one out. I mean, that game could have easily won that game, and that built a lot of respect for me. And then to come back against Duke, and while they're shooting so poorly, man, it was they got lucky at the end. Yes, they sure it fell their way, but damn it, I mean they crawled their way back when. Against a really good defensive team, too, in Duke.
Yeah, no question. And I think experience was a big thing in that comeback, too. When you look at guys like Alex Caravan and Terrace Reed and some of the players who were instigating that comeback for the Huskies, meanwhile, Duke showed its youth. I think they made a bunch of big mistakes down the stretch. Missed free throws and turnovers and things like empty possessions. I mean, there was one where Cameron Boozer just dribbled the ball off his leg right to UConn. I think it was about 2 minutes to go. So experience matters. These guys know how to win. They always say, winning is in your DNA when you're a player for a team like UConn. You're going to be in the Final Four now for the 3rd time in 4 years. These guys know how to win games in March, and I think that matters. Dan Hurley, I've also said this about Hurley. You may hate him because of his annoying sideline behavior. I mean, all he does is bitch and whine, and his behavior is embarrassing sometimes. It is embarrassing. I was at the Maui Invitational when he finished last. He lost 3 games in a row, and he made a fool of himself all 3 days. At one point, fell on the floor when he didn't get a call. He thought he wanted, but you love to bet on a coach like that because you know he's going to get maximum effort from his players. He's so detailed in his prep. His team's going to be so well prepared. And I think the result of that's what you see in the tournament. This guy just wins and covers. I did not bet on UConn in the first game against Furman. Our buddy Chris Massero took the points from Furman. He was brave, and he got there. And UConn kind of had to sweat that out. Did not look too impressive. I did bet on UConn against UCLA, against Michigan State, and against Duke. And I do like UConn a little bit against Illinois, too. But I don't love it. I think it's hard to be too strong in your opinion on either one of these games. I mean, do you love a side in either of the games Saturday?
No. Just to clarify, that was with 1:05 to go in the game. Duke when Cameron Boozer lost it to Terrace Reed, and it set up the Caravan three-pointer. They're up 4 with the ball there. Like 2 minutes before, the guy just slips for Duke. That runs out to an and one that they convert. And, of course, the last turnover that leads to a 3 as well. I mean, 3 turnovers leading to 9 points in the last 4 minutes or so in that game. I'm going to take Michigan. Correct me if I'm wrong here, because both Illinois and Arizona really dipped into that European Professional League to get some guys on their team, and it's been impactful. And I don't think it's totally coincidental that 2 of those 4 European heavy teams are still left here, and also. The offensive efficiency numbers for Illinois, just the strong. But the 3 freshmen that start is Michigan for Arizona. Michigan have an age advantage here that usually shows some, produces some results.
I think you could. I mean, if you watch the first half of the Purdue-Arizona game, I thought Purdue did a really good job of exposing some of Arizona's weaknesses, too, and those freshmen did not play well. It was 38-31, Arizona down 7.5. I knew Arizona was going to make a comeback and take the lead and probably win the game. But still, in that first half, you could see some of the, I think, weaknesses in that Arizona team, and those freshmen didn't play well. Now, Brady Burry's he lit it up in the second half. He was hot as a shooter, but and things completely turned around. But Dusty May is a really good coach. Like you said, he's got veterans on that front line. Dave Mara, obviously Jackson Lindeborg, and Morez Johnson. They got veterans all over the floor. And that's, I also think, like I said before, I think they're a little bit better at scoring at the rim, a little bit better at defending the rim, and they have veterans, like you said. So I lean Michigan a little bit in that game.
I think Dusty has the combination, of an ability in this era to build a roster, and also pretty solid bench coach as well. So I'm going to be on Michigan in the nightcap. The thing I'm battling on with UConn, and I usually fade narratives. And I mean, you can't get away from the 17-1 straight up in the ATS, but he's also there's a reason with these new rosters year in and year out that the stronger coaches, I mean, come on, Patino's teams are always better at the end of the year. Izzo's usually, and I mean the same thing with Hurley. So my initial thing is, I'm going to take UConn against Illinois. And the guy you brought up, and he played who the probable National Player of the Year, Boozer, he probably got the best of him. Reed was outstanding on Sunday, man. And he was probably the biggest reason to keep them within striking range until they finally got hot at the end.
Well, you're right about that. A lot of people talk about Braylon Mullen's shot. That's where the discussion starts about that game. But Terrace Reed was a stud. He's been a stud throughout this tournament. In the first 2 games, he had 41 points and 40 rebounds, So, I lean UConn a little bit there. Don't forget, Brad Underwood and Hurley have gone head-to-head twice in the last 2 years, and Hurley dominated both games.
Couple of things, too. He made some good interior passes down low. He defended on Caravan's 3 to cut it to 1. He was a screener that, moved just a little bit, because Caravan, if you saw before, he got the assist, but it was Boozer who was all the way out on him. He didn't think he could get his shot off, that he had to, swing it to Mullins. Charlie, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, well, I was kind of past the game. I was asking him who he thought the next coach at North Carolina was going to be.
I think it's going to be Billy Donovan. And, Doug Kazarian and I, we went to the Crown Tournament last night. We were out there watching that Oklahoma-Colorado game, which, by the way, if you bet the over, they don't call it undertime. Went over the total in overtime last night, 90-86. That was actually a good one. I think it's Billy D, their top target. And if you don't get Billy D, I think you got to push really hard for Dusty May. That would be my second choice. What do you guys think?
I think Dusty May is just fine where he is.
He probably is. He probably is. Yeah.
I mean, and look, North Carolina could send him to budget, but the SEC and the Big Ten got the most, and he's won enough to where that at Michigan budget he's going to get what he wants as far as his player budget is concerned. I just think they're going. Aaron Lloyd is just not saying enough to me, and their AD is sitting on his hands as far. Man, tie him up. I mean, put a deal in there. I mean, if if Boo Kerrigan, is paying attention to what's going on in Baton Rouge, I mean, make Will Wade sign a long-term deal with a heftier contract, but I mean a heftier buyout for your most probable, your biggest threat to scooping your coach.
I like your thought about the Big Ten. Thing is, by the time the next North Carolina coach is done, North Carolina may be in the Big Ten.
It could happen. It actually could happen. I heard a rumor about that a couple of years ago. Anyway, I think Tommy Lloyd's in a great spot in Tucson. I don't think he said much because he's trying to leverage that for a big raise at Arizona. And, I guess if he doesn't get it, he can take the Carolina job. But I still think Billy Donovan would be a pretty good choice. He's stale in the NBA. He's going nowhere with the Bulls. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing for college hoops if that happens.
If he's ready to come out. 20 seconds, Matt. Who has an advantage, if any, in Michigan, Arizona on the bench between Lloyd and May?
I give Dusty May a little bit of an edge. I do.
Me too.
Not much. I mean, I like both these coaches a lot, but just watching Michigan all season, I think Dusty May has become about as good as it gets in college basketball. That's what I said. This North Carolina job is a big-time job. You got to win at a high level and do it for a while to get that type of consideration. I think Dusty May's at that level. Yeah, you're right. He may not want to leave Michigan, but I think North Carolina could make a push for him if they have to.
Good to have you back, Matt. Good luck this weekend, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, Matt Humans from Avisen out in Las Vegas.
Take our final break. Come back and wrap things up here at Bally's Casino and Sportsbook. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Bally's Casino and Sportsbook on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
No better place to watch the Final Four action this weekend than right here at Bally's. And your chance to win. We're giving away the rest of the $25,000 and change in our free play contest. Come on down, make a $20 parlay or a $40 straight bet. You'll get entered in, and you get a chance
for every one of them.
Yeah,
you get that many entries into the hopper.
Go over to the Papa Shot, take your chances to see how much you're eligible to win, and you can be a part of those drawings. 7:15 and 9:15 on Saturday night. Come on, the women's Final Four also this weekend. All the number one seeds in that one. Bet on those games. Great place to watch. Terrific vantage point, good food here in the casino, and great service at this. What do we call it? Jimmy, you look at this bar; it almost looks like the national championship trophy in football. It's just kind of shaped like a football. So,
the video poker. Yes,
the video poker.
It is. It's an oval. It's got a little bit of a football shape to it.
Tomorrow we are working. We're doing the show from Rufino's. We'll have all your picks for the Final Four and a look at the big college baseball weekend as well. For Jimmy, for Max, and for Jordan back in the studio, and Carl, I'm Charles Haniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.